Yeah.
Hello there.
Hi.
Hi, Michael. How are
Hey,
you?
everybody. Hi, Michael. Happy National Drink Wine Night.
Yes. My glass is empty, but I'm waiting to fill it.
Here we go. We must start. We must start. So here we go.
I can't believe I waited to 8 o'clock on National Drink Wine Day to have my first glass of wine.
I know it's kind of sad, but
Wow.
this is, I am having, no, I have not, you saw I just poured it for the first time, but I have had this wine before in another vintage. It is actually the very first Tannat I ever had was from this maker.
You're going right back to the beginning.
And I went right back. I was like, you know what? Let me just go back to this. So first off, here we go. Sláinte, happy National Drink Wine Day.
Oh no, Gloria, I lost you. Are you there?
Me?
Yeah. Oh, I thought I lost you.
Well, I'm here. I just took a sip of wine. All right, so let's get going with
wine. This is really nice. Can we just drink?
Yeah, it's National Drink Wine Day. Sure. We're going to get going with Elmo right off the bat because he's sitting here and he is just waiting to drink with us. So here we go.
Jump up, get down, come dance for down now. We're moving our body to the ABC. Dance nearby, wow, dance far away, now clap your hands. To the letter of the day, clap, clap. What's the letter, clap, clap. What's the letter, clap, 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 clap. What's the letter? 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 The letter of the day is T.
The letter of the day is T, and it stands for Tannat. And yay! I am a Tannat fan. I am a Tannat fan.
I am
but
too.
Before we get into Tannat, Debbie, you want to introduce yourself?
Sure. Hold on a second. I'm trying to share the link on all the channels so that they can watch us live. So I'm Debbie Giaquindo. I'm the Hudson Valley Wine Goddess. I am a wine blogger, wine writer, wine educator. I am an author of the book Tapping the Hudson Valley. Own a restaurant in Stone Harbor called Kitchen 330. And we're having a Dristina wine dinner on April 26th. We hope everybody can come down and enjoy a little bit of the beach and some really good wine and food. And what else? I'm co-owner of Happy Bitch Wines, and I think that's it. And I'm kind of running on empty. Hi, Karen. Got off a plane at 6:30 this morning, the red eye from California, so bear with me.
I know that flight well. I know that flight a little bit too well. Actually, though, my flight gets in at 5:30 in the morning that I normally take. But anyways, I am Lori. My husband Michael and I own Dristina Wines in Paso Robles. We just finished pouring at an event in Solvang, and we just signed up for another event in San Juan Capistrano. So if anybody is in that area, March 9th and 10th, we'll be there for 2 days at a Stone's Throw winery. And it will be the first time you can taste our rosé. We bottled our rosé on Valentine's Day, which was kind of an accident. We were supposed to bottle it a week earlier in time for the Solvang event, but we got booted off. The truck couldn't come in, so it got delayed. But I kind of like the idea of bottling our rosé on St. Valentine's Day. So that will be the first time that people will be able to taste it. So if you're in San Juan Capistrano, the 9th or the 10th of March, the tickets I think are $100 for VIP entrance, so that's not too bad at all. And you'll be able to taste all three of our wines. The Classic, which got a 91 in Wine Enthusiast. The Reserve, both of those got gold medals in the San Francisco Chronicle. And our Rosé, which we haven't sent it anywhere, so I don't know what it
We're
is. But
serving it.
we are serving it, and it is very Provence colored. It's very light. It's lighter than last year's, and the acidity is like, yeah, it is. It is an acid head wine. So that is me, and we are here today to talk to you about Tannat, and we have Steve. Hi, Steve. Welcome, Karen and Michael. Thank you for joining us today. So Tannat, Debbie, you were saying before we got on, you have had Tannat before?
I have had Tannat. My first Tannat was actually in Virginia.
Oh, okay.
I was at a camp, and I had Tannat there. And then I've had Tannat from Uruguay. And this is my first, I have a California Tannat in my glass. So it's my first California Tannat. But
before we get into it, Michael, who was such a sweetheart and sent me some information.
I just want to read some too. That was great. Yeah.
Yeah. So I just want to read exactly what it was, because it really was kind of interesting to me, because Paso is mentioned in it, and I don't know that much Tannat in Paso. I know a couple of wineries that are making it, but it actually says consumption of Uruguayan Tannat will keep soaring. This one is a repeat offender from the 2018 list, but it is warranted. Uruguayan Tannat continues to see increases in scans and ratings of 28% and 34% respectively, a nice nod to South America beyond the favorable and bold reds from Chile and Argentina. Tannat wines are darkly colored, powerful with big tannin structures, and high marked acidity. Though popular in the southwest of France and gaining ground among California producers, particularly in Paso Robles and Lodi, it is in Uruguay where this variety shines and will continue to do so, producing big reds with round tannins, and we might even see more unique blends, as it is typically combined with Merlot and Pinot. So mine is actually 100% Tannat as far as
so is mine.
Yeah.
So is mine.
All right. So let's get into the history to start off with. And I will bring up our nice little presentation here. Okay. So Winephabet's history of Tannat. Though many scholars believe that Tannat actually originated in the Basque region, Tannat is most closely associated with the winemaking region of Matawan at the foothills of the Pyrenees Mountains in southwestern France. The grape has been growing in that region for centuries, since about the 17th and 18th century, so it has been there quite some time. Matawan is actually a village in the rolling countryside of Gascony in the far southwest of France. The area is famous for its indulgent gastronomy and rich, concentrated, tannic Matawan wines. Gascon culinary specialties include magret de canard and couscous, which is rich gamey foods that demand a wine match of a serious character and structure. So it makes complete sense, because Tannat is big, bold, in your face, so their foods need to be that way also. Okay. By law, Tannat grapes must make up between 60% and 80% of any wine bearing the Matawan appellation. The remaining portion can be made up with any combination of Cabernet Sauvignon and Cabernet Franc, and a little-known Gascon variety called Fer Cervidell, which is also known as Pennec. Since Cabernet is used to soften the Tannat out, that gives you such a clue as to how bold and how tannic Tannat is, right? So Cabernet Sauvignon, for us, the international variety, is the big, bold, in-your-face wine. And Tannat producers use Cabernet Sauvignon to soften Tannat. So That is a bold statement right there. In the recent past, producers have begun producing 100% Tannat of Matawan wines. Okay, that are a whole bunch of stems. So a big thing that's going on now, not so much with Tannat, but a big thing that's going on now is the whole cluster fermentation, and you're throwing everything in there, you're throwing the stems. Well, you can't really do that with Tannat because the grape itself has so much tannin. So to help compensate for the heavy tannins, destemming is absolutely mandatory. And this picture is actually what, if you've never been at a winery when they've harvested and they've destemmed, this is all of the stems, and they come out into this big bucket and they're just all stuck together. It's kind of a cool thing to see. Barrel maturation, although not mandatory, is relatively common, often spending up to 2 years in new oak barrels. Again, as you use oak, that's going to soften the tannins. So it's another process to take this wild tannin Tannat and calm it down a little bit. Other techniques include gentle pressing, microoxygenation, which promotes tannin polymerization, which also serves to stabilize the rich dark color that Tannat is known for. Right? So microoxygenation helps keep that color in. French kings accepted Matawan wines as payment for taxes. That's how good it was. And Tannat continues to be grown in the Basque Country, most notably in the tiny appellation of Ihorigi on the Spanish border. And there is Ihorigi. It is actually a small wine region located 125 miles south of Bordeaux in Le Pays Basque, the French Basque Country. This is about as far south in France as it is possible to go before actually crossing into the Pyrenees Mountains, into the País Vasco of northern Spain. The region produces fruity, tannic red wines and full-bodied, tangy whites. Ihorigi red wines are made from Cabernet Franc and Tannat grape varieties, both of which have been grown there for centuries. So this has now become a region that I have added to my bucket list because, Cab Franc, Tannat in the same region, I'm going there. All right. Pascal Hariojuji, I think is how you say his name, who lived from 1819 to 1894, is said to be the Uruguayan father of commercial wine growing. Pascal immigrated from the French Basque region and eventually purchased an estate, La Chabaya in Salto, a town on the Rio Uruguay. Around 1870, he planted Tannat, and it adapted perfectly to the local soil and climate, and its popularity soared very, very quickly. By 1877, it was considered the national grape of Uruguay, and in honor of Pascal, Tannat became commonly referred to as Hariojuji. Hariojuji, that's what it is, Hariojuji. It accounts for approximately 1/3 of all wine produced in that country. More Tannat is grown in Uruguay than it actually is in its native France. Tannat is generally considered one of a dozen and a half or so world-class red wine grapes. Other regions are beginning to experiment with Tannat, both in South America and in the United States. In the United States, Texas is actually turning out to be the hotbed for Tannat activity.
Wow.
Yeah, and see now I have never had a Texas wine, which I need to get on board. I need to get in touch with some of our Texan co-wine writers over there and see how we can get involved in that. But that is what I had heard, was Texas was growing a lot of Tannat. And then, as you had mentioned, I think at the beginning, yours, the first wine you ever had, first Tannat you had ever had, is from Virginia.
Yeah.
So that is also a large producer. And as Michael sent over, California. So the name itself means tannin. So there's no hiding what this wine is,
Yeah.
right? It is what it is. The wines are typically very dark and tannic thanks to the extremely thick skins and high seed count. So owing to its high tannin levels, Tannat is sometimes touted even above red wines in general for its supposed health benefits. So we all know, depending on what day it is, odd day, even day, whatever, drink wine, it's good for you. Drink wine, it's bad for you. But generally speaking, they have said that red wine has health benefits. And it is because of the compounds that are in the skin, and because of these compounds that are, since the skin is so thick in a Tannat grape, it has increased levels of health. And what's funny, or I guess it's not really funny, haha, but interesting, is that one of the proofs that they are, or evidence that they are saying for why it's so healthy, or proving that it is so healthy, is that the Mattawan residents live for an extended, really long period of time. So they say that the Mandarin residents are the evidence that Tannat is the healthiest grape variety to be drinking. There you go. So yeah, so that's the history of Tannat.
So drink Tannat and we'll live forever.
There you go. Now it sounds good to me. Sounds good to me.
Wow, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
That was a good little thing on how long the people live.
Thanks.
I swear, we're all going to have purple teeth when we finish this.
Oh, yes.
This is some serious purple teeth wine.
Yes. Yeah, Steve has mentioned that food would help. Yes, this is a food wine. I do not have food with me,
yes.
But I would definitely say Tannat is.
I have what I didn't eat of my little heart. Oh. But I think it's going to taste well with this. It says milk chocolate Bordeaux.
Okay.
So we'll see when we get to that point how it tastes.
Well, as we know, pairing wine and chocolate, everybody, especially with Valentine's around, everybody's like, oh, I'll give wine and chocolate. It's actually a very difficult pairing to do.
Mm-hmm.
Pairing wine with sweet, with that chocolate is not an easy thing. And just as a general rule, you need to find something equally sweet. So the wine has to be equally or more sweet than whatever you are giving, as the food.
Also, though, sometimes with the chocolate, the wine might bring out, it might not be as sweet, but the chocolate will bring out the characteristics of the wine and change the whole flavor of the chocolate.
Right. So it's not an easy match. So I'm interested to see how that one goes.
We'll find out.
And it's not, and for people who are listening or watching, it's not a price point. It's not like expensive chocolate's going to go with, champagne. No.
Yeah.
That's another one. Chocolate and champagne.
When I bit into this, I thought it was 100% chocolate, but it wasn't. There's some, I don't know what it is, but it was really good, and I had to stop myself from eating it so I could actually pair it with the wine maybe and see if it works on the show.
Is it a fruit component? Like maybe
no,
it's
fruit. No. It's I don't know. Almost I want to say, I'm trying to find it. Like
it kind of looks like peanut butter.
It looks like peanut butter. It has a hint of peanut butter, but it's not a strong flavor.
Okay.
So I don't know.
All right, we'll have to see.
I saved the rest of it for the wine for the show. It was very difficult to do because that is very addictive.
All right, so we got general characteristics.
Okay, here we go. So the general characteristics for Tannat. We have the grape of tannins. So the wines that Tannat produces are very dark. And I'm just trying to see the slide as well as my notes here. Very dark, and that it's due to their thick skins and high seed count. It's a very rich wine, inky purple teeth wine. The thick skins makes the grapes resistant to botrytis and powdery mildew. In the old world, in Madrid, they have replaced the older Tannat vines with newer clones that are more appealing to traditional clones. And it's funny because in the New World, Uruguay actually still has the old vines from the original clones that the French brought over. So you would typically think in the old world they have the old vines, but it's actually the new world has the old vines. And there's talk that Tannat could be a cross between a grape from Quercy and the Edema grape from the Pyrenean Piedmont. And it has also been crossed with other grape varieties, such as Cabernet Sauvignon, to give birth to, I can't pronounce this, Ikigana, Ikigaina variety.
Oh, that's a new one to me.
Yeah, we'll find one of those and do it for E, huh?
Sure, I'm sure they're at every store.
So, so some general characteristics that you will get when you drink a Tannat: black plum, black licorice, dark chocolate, cardamom, raspberry, espresso. And that's just in general, maybe some blueberry as well. And then in French Tannat, you will taste more red fruit, so raspberry, tight gripping tannins, also more pronounced fruit. So and some plum, gripping tannins, licorice, both red and black, dark chocolate. And the Uruguay Tannat shows some elegance. It's a little bit lower in tannins than the French and a little bit softer. You'll get black fruits, blackberry, black cherry, black plum, black currant, tobacco, some sweet spices. And I have to say that my California one is pretty soft, which I was really kind of surprised. And with Tannat, you can enjoy it now. It can be drank, you can drink it young. You can cellar it from 3 to 5 years, or you can cellar it a decade. As the wine ages, it develops aromas of leather, gamey notes, smoke, cigar box, and of course you'll get softer tannins. And aged a decade or more, they become much richer in taste. So that's something to think about. So that's what I got on the characteristics.
All right. Well, it's time to pour another glass. It's been 20 minutes. That was a small pour if anybody's paying attention.
I just can't get over how dark this wine is.
So, well, here's mine, but the light is really on it, so it looks a little bit lighter, and I've got all the bubbles from the pour. But it's ruby. It's ruby in color all the way through. Mine is actually medium minus ruby, I would say, because I can see through it. So
see, I can't. Mine is really dark and concentrated.
And what year is yours?
Mine is a 13.
Oh wow. Okay. So mine is actually a 17. So mine is super, super young.
Oh, and mine's got that, 6 years old.
All right, so mine is a 2017 El Esteco Don David Reserve. And this was a mere $13.
Oh, nice.
It is a very good wine. I like it, except if you guys watched last month when we did the Sangiovese and I had that Chianti, Debbie, I texted you. I went back to go buy more, and it was on sale for even cheaper, and it was like $11.99. I like took everything off of the shelf from them. So that wine was spectacular. So for $13 or $12, I would go to my Sangiovese from my Chianti from last month, but this is a solid wine for $13. So the winery, the Don David, is actually located in the Conchaquay Valley, and the region, as they say on their website, is a place that deserves to be admired more than understood. So I thought that was kind of interesting, but in the world of let's make terroir-focused wines, I kind of thought that was a little interesting or weird. Like I get this place is supposed to be so magnificent that you want to admire it, but I don't know how you can produce quality wine if you don't want to understand it. But maybe they're not. I went, all right, I'll give them the leaf and say maybe they weren't talking about the grapes, that specific thing. They're just saying, let's not overthink this beautiful area. Let's just accept it for what it is. So that's how I'm going, is we're just going to accept this Conchaquay region for the beauty that it is. Actually, in the region, there is the vegetation from the Yunga forest, and then there are rivers and mountains, and then smack dab in the middle of this area, according to them, is this desert. So you've got all these different,
Wow.
yeah, right? You've got forest, you've got rivers, you've got mountains, which goes with forest, but and then a desert. And right smack dab in the middle of this desert is where the winery can be found. And then they say it is 1,800 meters, which is 5,500 feet above sea level. And the vines get to see sunshine an enormous amount of hours during the day. And they have a temperate climate, which is perfect for the Tannat grapes. The winery itself is actually relatively young. It was only founded in 1982. The French immigrants, David and Salvador Miguel, founded the winery in 1892, like I said, and it soon became the pioneering establishments in the Argentinian winemaking process history. As they say, blessed by the assets of the region and the dedication of the staff, our winery has earned well-deserved recognition for the high quality of products it produces. And they are not small. They have just over 1,000 acres under vine. So pretty darn well. Yeah, yeah. The Tannat for this wine comes from the foothills of the Andes in the Gavatate region around Salta in northwest Argentina. And the vineyards are planted at 1,700 meters, which makes them the highest commercial sites in the world. So cool climate plays a key part in the great variations between the night and day temperature. So they obviously, when you're at that altitude, you're going to have huge differences, diurnal shifts, which slow down the ripening cycle and allow the fruit to hang longer and get its varietal character. The first work is in the vineyards to obtain the concentration of balance, and these vines for this are all at least 20 years old. All harvest is done manually and putting in the 22K kilogram boxes, and then the winery comes in, presses the fruit. 70% of the wines is aged in small barrels. They use both American and French oak for 12 months. And then it is 100% malolactic fermentation. And that's basically done, David. And as I said earlier, the very first Tannat I had is actually from this winery. So I thought for this one I would go back. I think the first one I had was 2013. So it's been a long time since I've had this little guy here. It's firm. My gums, when I have it, my gums are like screaming the tannin. And it's pretty high acidity. My tongue is doing a nice little, acid dance with it, but everything is very much well in balance. In the nose, it's coffee. Like when you open a coffee bag, not like, well, I don't like drinking coffee, but that smell of fresh coffee beans, I get that. And there is definitely some chocolate, but what I really get in here is like stony, like soil. I get, I'm kind of like a chalkiness, the earth, not like forest floor, but kind of like chalk, that type of. So
It's pretty complex nose there.
Yeah, it is. It is. And for $13, whatever. So what do you got, Deb?
So I have Rockwall Wine Company, 2013 Tannat. It's called the Palindrome because Palindrome Tannat is spelled Tannat frontwards or backwards.
Clever.
So my daughter got me this when she worked at the liquor store. She just got a job on her career path. So she doesn't work at the liquor store anymore, but in Nashville. And I believe it was $22 on my charge card. But when I went on the website, it actually retails for $35 from Rockwall. So take it as you may, wherever you get the wherever you get it from. So I was really interested to find out when I looked up Rockwall because I knew nothing about it. So do we all remember, Rosenblum cellars and how they made Zinfandel? And it was sold I think around 2008 maybe or so. Well, this is Kent, the founder of Rosenblum Cellars, and his daughter, Shauna, who is the winemaker.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Now
I was just like, wow, because I've been to Rosenblum. And
Did he just pass away? He just passed away. I think so. Oh, well, don't quote me on that. But I think so. I think at the beginning of 2018.
That's a shame.
But I don't know.
So,
do you know?
Rockwall emphasizes the intense, deep flavors, reds made famous by Kent. And they do single vineyard zins. They do have some whites in their portfolio, but they do have, focus on reds and predominantly zins. And now we have the Tannat. The grapes are sourced from prime vineyards throughout Northern California. Because he has had, relationships with the growers. And the winery is actually, this sounds really cool, it's in a repurposed airplane hangar on the western tip of Alameda. And it used the skyline of San Francisco. And that's the skyline is what you see on the bottle. Let me bring the bottle back. And it's all etched, which is really
that is keeper bottle. That's a keeper bottle.
So yeah, that is really pretty. I have to put that up on my thing with all my other keeper bottles. So I thought it was really interesting. Now, Shauna and her dad started the cellar, or the winery. But what was really interesting is that Shauna actually has a master's degree in sculpture from the San Francisco Art Institute.
Oh, wow.
And she realized there were similarities in the ceramics and winemaking process as far as chemistry and blending. And that led her to realize that winemaking was an art. And, she grew up in the vineyards and in the cellars. So, one thing led to another. And she's following in her dad's footsteps, which was, really nice. They do 30,000 cases. So that's pretty, yeah, a lot. Yeah. So let me tell you about this Tannat. This Tannat is Sonoma and Solana County appellation. It's 100% Tannat. It's 15.4% alcohol. It's aged in 20% new French oak and 80% American oak. And it was released December 7th, 2014. And there are 1,200 cases produced, and the suggested retail price is $30. Mm-hmm. So in the production of this, the Glacier Tannat was picked on the 12th of September, 2013, and split into 2 lots for fermentation. Both saw a 5-day cold soak and then inoculated with the AMH yeast to one lot and BM45 yeast to the other lot on the same day. They went through 13-day fermentation cycle, and they were pressed together and taken down to 10% new French oak, and the rest of it went into neutral barrels. Then the England Shaw Tannat was picked a little bit later on the 30th of September 2013. And there goes my phone. And it was fermented in one big lot using D254 yeast. And after a 2-week fermentation, they pressed it and it came down to 10% new French oak and the rest went into the neutral barrels. So that's pretty much how it was done. This actually got a 92 points in the 2015 San Francisco International Wine Competition.
All right.
So, let me see what I get. I mean, I've been sipping and everything, but I get a dark berry, blackberry, almost like a mocha, like a mix between like a espresso and chocolate or something like that. It's not as complex as yours, Lori. I get some vanilla.
Yolk.
Yeah. And mine is really dense in color.
Yeah, this
Very
is actually really lighter than I would expect a Tannat to be. But it's got the gripping tannins and the acidity. I mean, and the finish is still going. Like it is an extra long finish. And Michael did confirm my thought. Yeah.
This has I get blueberry in here,
Okay.
and it starts out as a juicy blueberry, and then ends as almost like a tart. Tannic, you can really feel the tannins in this. Pretty still strong tannins. There's even a little raspberry on the finish.
On the fish. All right.
Yeah.
And
it's you know what this is. I didn't expect it to feel as tannic as it is. I didn't expect it to feel so elegant on the palate.
oh, right.
But the tannins are more mid palate, and
Okay.
it finishes more elegant and silky. If that makes any
Right.
sense.
Absolutely. That's a well-balanced wine then. That's a
Yes.
very balanced
So
wine.
should I taste it with my chocolate here?
Sure. And while you are
Would you like a
tasting,
bite?
making us all jealous, Michael announced that he was drinking M2.
Mm.
So it is a Tannat from their first production.
It's not peanut butter.
What?
It's not peanut butter that's in
Oh,
that.
maybe it's like a nougat,
Yeah, whatever it is, good.
like a Nutella thing. What is that? Hazelnut?
It kind of neutralizes out the wine.
Does it?
It
Oh.
doesn't do anything for the flavors.
Oh. Yeah. It's a
Yeah.
tough thing to match.
And
It's
it
a
is
tough
more
thing.
like a nugget
Yeah.
type of thing.
And he's it's $28 at M2, and he's heading back Thursday to stock
Yes.
up more. Well, that's good. You can get us all some, Michael.
Yeah, we'll just come over and have some with you, Michael.
Right. All
We're going to
right.
stop by when I was in the Bay Area this weekend.
Yeah. I wish I was in the Bay Area this weekend. I always wish I was in the area.
You know what, though? It was warmer in Jersey than it was in the Bay Area.
Yeah, we didn't get snow. It was well, not by me. It was cold this week. When you were out there, it was like in the 30s.
Was it?
Yeah, by me anyway.
It snowed where I was. Actually, we were walking and I said, it started to rain. Sort of, it was the wet snow.
Oh, right. It snowed in Las
I said, that's wet snow. And Diane's like, well, you would know. You're from the East.
It snowed in Las Vegas today. So, yeah.
Wow.
Anyway, we are on to some food pairings for Tannat. All right. First up, because Tannat has such a strong structure and very typically smoky characters, it lends itself to pair well with a wide variety of foods. First up is a roasted meat. So this is a high temperature eye of round roast. And there's the link and whatever it is. To be really honest, when it said roasted meats, I didn't really know what that meant. So I went with roast beef. I guess that's I don't know. I don't know if that's right or not, but that's a roasted piece of meat. So I went with that. All right, this thing I have the
Rabbit stew, okay.
only reason why I know how to say this word is thanks to Looney Tunes Bugs Bunny.
Hassan Pfeiffer?
Hassan Pfeiffer, thanks to rabbit season, duck season, rabbit season, duck season, rabbit stew. That's the only reason why I know how to say that. Thank you, Looney Tunes. Next up is venison. And because it had its smoky flavors when I was looking for a recipe, there were multiple reasons why I chose this specific one. Beside the venison, I thought the smoky, it had bacon, and I thought that would pair very well. But the real reason why I chose this person's recipe is the name, Lupin Pooter. So all I could think of was Harry Potter, like Lupin and Harry Potter, and then Pooter. I don't know. All I could think of was Harry Potter, so I went with his recipe. And then we have this is a Boilermaker tailgate chili. So beef and sausage would go very well with it, but you need to pay attention to the heat level. You don't want it to be an overly spicy chili. But the wine can handle some heat. And then the last thing I have is strong aged cheeses, such as Asiago, Pecorino, Provola, De Negrotto, Provolone, and Romano. So that is what I have as food pairings.
Looks good. Actually, do I never would think to pair this with rabbit.
No,
I'll have to put that on a review because we serve rabbit at the restaurant every now and then.
Oh, then yeah. It likes it because it's got that smokiness to it. It will go well with game. So
I'm getting sediment in my glass.
Oh,
this is really good. I'm really enjoying this.
That's good. That's good. We've been on a roll lately. The last few ones have been pretty darn. We've enjoyed the last few ones.
Yeah. So let's see what we got here for just some facts. Oops, wrong thing here. So some fun facts here. We have Tannat originated. I'm having trouble speaking tonight. It must be that lack of sleep on the 4-hour flight, 4 hours and 50-minute flight home and the 6-hour and 50-minute flight out there. But anyway, Tannat originated in the Mandarin region of France, but it may have actually originated in the Basque country on the other side of the Pyrenees Mountains and brought over to France. So someone just like hopped over the mountain. And Uruguay is the chief source of Tannat today. It is the most prominent grape of the country. And actually, when I think of Tannat, Uruguay comes first to mind, and then for me, Virginia. Even though Virginia is where I tasted my first Tannat, I just automatically think of Uruguay. And Uruguay has the old vine Tannats, where in France, they have replaced it with different, I guess, softer clones to make it more palatable for people on what they expect in a wine. So Tannat means tannins, and it is a very, very tannic wine. And so Tannat is part of the Coticide family. And these grapes are combined by their common characteristic, suggests that they may have a common genetic origin. So there's cotton, Lazette B, Manseng Black. They all seem to be related. And they're also the close cousin to Negrette and Malbec. So these are all grapes within the same family as Tannat. And and I think that's it. Oh, do I have one more? Enjoy the wine. They're great values, between $10 and $30.
I do think Tannat is a great value wine. I don't know if it's because it's not as well known, and that it is actually a rather large production wine in Uruguay and Argentina. It's a very large amount of land under vine for Tannat. So I don't know if that has something to do with it, but $13, $20 for the bottle is what you're typically seeing it.
So I don't know, because this is an older wine, if it is that why it might be more expensive. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. But you said they're still selling it on their website for 30? They still have
it on their website for 35, but their spec sheet said 30. And I got for 22, but I don't know if this included my daughter's discount.
And it's a 13.
13.
So eek. I'd be a little upset if I still had 13 going around. They must have had some massive production of that grape.
There was only 1,200 cases produced.
And they still have it around? Wow.
Let me just see. And let me see if they produced any since.
I mean, 1,200 cases. And so if it was a 2013, they probably released in 2015.
They released it, I think they said in 14. Hold on, let me go back.
So 5 years, and they still got 12. They still got wine off of 12.
They released it December 7th, 2014. Wow. And I'm just trying to see here.
My guess is they're not making more. They didn't make more of it.
I don't think. Oh wait, no, they did a 2014 Tannat.
Well, they had to, because they were already.
They did a 2015 Tannat. The last Tannat they did was 2015, so they did 14, 15.
They were already under commitment, so they bottled it, right? You harvest in 13. They released it early. They released it in 14, December of 14. So they already harvested the 14 because it was December. Mm-hmm. They've already harvested 14, and they've already contracted for 15.
15, and then they stopped. Yeah,
they stopped.
It's too bad, because this is nice.
Right, but $30 for a Tannat is
that's kind of heavy.
Yeah, when you're making a wine that isn't a popular wine in the United States, your price has to be at a good point that you're competing with these other countries that can put it in for the 14, 15, $16.
I agree with you.
That's my guess on that. I'm just guessing from my perspective of winemaking. Like, that's probably what happened.
And you're probably right.
Anyways, so that is Tannat. So next month.
Hold on, I got the link somewhere. I got to find it.
So next month, we hunted high and low for the letter U. We had thought it would be great to do a United Kingdom sparkling. And I was able to find one bottle, thanks to my friend who works at Stu Leonard's in Farmingdale, New York, which she is still bringing me that bottle. We'll get together and we'll drink that together, Debbie. but Debbie was unable to get one. So we had
And I
to.
searched New York and South Jersey. I had my
Right.
husband going to liquor stores in the Hudson Valley, and I was going to liquor stores down here, and I got looked at like I had 10 heads.
So we had to go with Plan B. We balked on that and went with Plan B. And Debbie, the letter U, what are we doing?
Umbria.
Umbria. We are doing Umbria.
There's
So
the
we are
link
back
to
to
Tannat.
doing a wine region for the letter U. And you know, you got to do what you got to do. Sometimes
Yeah.
some of the letters are more difficult than
We'll have
others.
to see what we come up with our selections, because could be
Yeah.
red, could be white, we could be doing, you just
Right.
never know.
So,
So well,
and,
thank you all for joining us.
what is the date, Debbie?
Oh, March 18th.
March 18th. Okay.
Yeah.
Ooh, right before the WSET test. Okay.
February and March have the same dates.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Yeah.
That is right.
Yeah.
So, and
I can't wait to hear what you choose for Umbria, Michael. He's got
yeah,
he's
got several in the center. All right, we'll have to. Yeah, I have to go buy something. I don't have anything.
I have to go buy something too.
Think of myself. But anyway, thank you everybody for joining in. Karen, Michael, Steve, thank you very much. I hope you enjoy Tannat, and I hope you have something in your glass, even if it is not a Tannat. And we will see you
next week, next month.
we will see you. We will see you next month. And you guys still have several more hours to celebrate National Drink Wine Day. So
cheers to National Drink Wine Day.
And sláinte to that. And we will see you next month. Thanks for joining.
Yep. Take care, everybody. Have a great week.
Bye.
Bye-bye.